Civics. Lesson 9 Public Facilities. Q1. Mention few public facilities that are also provided by private companies. Ans. School, colleges, healthcare and transportation. Q2. State the reason for the maximum death among children in India. Ans. Maximum death among children in India is caused by water-related diseases. Q3. Which article in the Indian Constitution recognizes the right to water? Ans. The Constitution of India recognizes the right to water as being a part of the right to life under Article 21. Q4. Mention some public facilities that are provided by the government. Or, give some examples of public facilities that are provided by the government. Ans. Public facilities that are provided by the government are healthcare, sanitation, electricity, public transport, roads, schools and colleges. Q5. Besides water, what are the other public facilities which come under right to life? Ans. The Indian Constitution recognizes the right to water, health, education etc. as being a part of the right to life. Q6. Which age set of children should get compulsory education according to RTE? Ans. The Indian Constitution guarantees the right to education for all children between the ages of 6 to 14 years. Q7. Is right to safe drinking water a fundamental right? Ans. Yes. Right to water entitles everyone to sufficient, safe, acceptable, physically accessible and affordable water for personal and domestic use. Q8. State the role of government in public facilities. Ans. One of the most important functions of the government is to ensure that these public facilities are made available to everyone. Q9. Why should government be responsible for providing public facilities? Ans. Government should be responsible for providing public facilities in order to ensure that these public facilities are made available to everyone. Q10. Mention some public facilities that only the government can provide and maintain. Ans. Some public facilities that only the government can provide and maintain are roads, railways, sanitation, electricity and water supply. Q11. What is a government budget? Ans. This is an account of the expenses the government has made on its programs in the past year and how much it plans to spend in the coming year. Q12. What do you mean by universal access to water? Ans. Universal access to water means that it is the right of every person, whether rich or poor, to have sufficient amounts of water to fulfill his/her daily needs at a price that he/she can afford. Q13. Why do you think there are so few cases of private water supply in the world? Ans. Water is a basic necessity for all. Hence, a private company cannot be in a position to supply water at a rate which is affordable to all people. Due to this, there are very few cases of private water supply in the world. Q14. What is sanitation? Ans. Sanitation refers to the provision of facilities for the safe disposal of human urine and feces. This is done by construction of toilets and pipes to carry the sewerage and treatment of wastewater. This is necessary so as to avoid contamination. Q15. Describe right to water. Ans. The Constitution of India recognizes the right to water as being a part of the right to life under Article 21. This means that it is the right of every person, whether rich or poor, to have sufficient amounts of water to fulfill his/her daily needs at a price that he/she can afford. Q16. Why does the lack of proper sanitation affect women and girls more acutely? Ans. Lack of proper sanitation affects women and girls more acutely because they often have to wait until dark to go to the toilet. To avoid the need for such frequent toilet use, women often drink less, causing severe health impacts. Q17. What is company? Ans. A company is a form of business set up by people or by the government. Those that are promoted and owned by individuals or groups are called private companies. For example, Tata Steel is a private company whereas Indian Oil is a company run by the government. Q18. What do you think would happen if the government withdraws from the task of supplying water? Ans. If the government withdraws from the task of supplying water, it would lead to an increase in the price of water because the private enterprises would not be willing to do it at a lower cost. It would lead to great unrest in the country. Q19. Do you think that lack of access to proper sanitation facilities affects people's lives? How? Ans. Yes. Lack of access to proper sanitation facilities indeed affects the lives of the people adversely. Lack of such facilities leads to cholera, typhoid and also respiratory and skin problems. Lack of proper sanitation facility can also lead to death of adults and infants. Q20. Why is water considered as a part of the fundamental right to life? Ans. Water is essential for life and for good health. Not only is it necessary for us to be able to meet our daily needs, but safe drinking water can prevent many water-related diseases. Thus, water is considered as a part of the fundamental right to life. Q21. Do you think the distribution of public facilities in our country is adequate and fair? Give an example of your own to explain. Ans. Distribution of public facilities in our country is not adequate and fair. Compared to the metros and large cities, towns and villages are underprovided. Compared to wealthy localities, the poorer localities are underserviced. Q22. Write a short note on Sulabh. Ans. Sulabh, a non-government organization, has been working for 3 decades to address the problems of sanitation facing low-caste, low-income people in India. It has constructed more than 7,500 public toilet blocks and 1.2 million private toilets, giving access to sanitation to 10 million people. The majority of the users of Sulabh facilities are from the poor working class. Q23. Why are most of the private hospitals and private schools located in major cities and not in towns or rural areas? Ans. The private hospitals and private schools are opened with the sole motive of earning profit. They charge high amount of money from their customers. The hefty amount of money charged by such hospitals and schools can only be affordable for people in major cities. Thus, most of the private hospitals and private schools located in major cities and not in towns or rural areas. Q24. What are the characteristics of public facilities? Or, what is the importance of public facilities? Ans. The important characteristic of a public facility is that once it is provided, its benefits can be shared by many people. For instance, a school in the village will enable many children to get educated. Similarly, the supply of electricity to an area can be useful for many people. Farmers can run pump sets to irrigate their fields. People can open small workshops that run on electricity. Students will find it easier to study, and most people in the village will benefit in some way or the other. Q25. Do you think water in Chennai is available and affordable by all? Discuss. Ans. Water supply in Chennai is marked by shortages. Municipal supply meets only about half the needs of the people of the city, on an average. There are areas which get water more regularly than others. Those areas that are close to the storage points get more water, whereas colonies further away receive less water. The burden of shortfalls in water supply falls mostly on the poor. The middle class, when faced with water shortages, are able to cope through a variety of private means such as digging borewells, buying water from tankers, and using bottled water for drinking. Apart from the availability of water, access to safe drinking water is also available to some, and this depends on what one can afford. Q26. How does the government raise funds to provide public facilities? Or, where does the government get money for the public facilities? Ans. The main source of revenue for the government is the taxes collected from the people, and the government is empowered to collect these taxes and use them for such programs. For instance, to supply water, the government has to incur costs in pumping water, carrying it over long distances, laying down pipes for distribution, treating the water for impurities, and finally, collecting and treating wastewater. It meets these expenses partly from the various taxes that it collects and partly by charging a price for water. This price is set so that most people can afford a certain minimum amount of water for daily use.